Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. On this video, we are going to be explaining how to write the end of the Cold War and a New World Order essay for History Grade 12 Paper 2. Okay, so first things first, the most important part, the introduction. I always say, even in my previous videos, your introduction should have three things. It should consist of three things. The first important thing is the stance, your line of argument, where you stand, okay? And then step number two is the reason for your stance as to why you have taken that line of argument. And then step number three is orientation, whereby you tell the reader or the marker what your essay is going to discuss or what your essay is going to be about. Okay, now let's take a look at the three practice questions that I have attached here. Okay, and then you will see how you are supposed to take a line of argument or take a stance on each question. Practice question number one. It reads as follows. Mikhail Gorbachev's policies from the mid-1980s contributed to the emergence of a new political dispensation in South Africa. Do you agree with this statement? Use relevant evidence to support your line of argument. How do we take our line of argument? If a question says, do you agree? You say, I agree. If you agree, that's if you agree. But if you disagree, you will say, I disagree. Okay? You can also say, this essay agrees that it's still allowed, or this essay disagrees, it's still allowed. Okay? So, this is very important. That's the first thing you do. You take a line of argument before anything else. That is step number one. Done. Practice question number two. The question reads as follows. Gorbachev's political and economic reforms of the mid-1980s led to the disintegration and downfall of the Soviet Union and ultimately the end of Cold War in 1991. Critically discuss this statement. Support your line of argument with relevant historical evidence. So, when a person says to you critically discuss, this is how you take your stance. This is how you take your line of argument. Where you stand, you say I approve or you disapprove, or this essay approves that, or this essay disapproves that. That is also correct. Moving on to practice question number three. It reads as follows. Explain to what extent the sweeping reforms introduced by Gorbachev in the 1980s affected the Soviet Union politically and economically, and at the same time resulted in political changes in South Africa. Use relevant evidence to support your line of argument. So when a question says to you, to what extent, you say, this is how you take your line of argument, or this is how you take your stance or your position. You say to a greater extent, or to a lesser extent, or to a great extent, or to a less extent. That is still correct. Alright? Then we proceed to step number two, provide a reason. Step number three, orientation. Okay, let's take a look at this example where I have applied the three steps that I spoke about in the previous slide. Alright? The question, we read this question, okay? So step number one, I take my position, I take my stance, I take my line of argument. Here it is. To a greater extent. This is where I stand. This is my line of argument. The sweeping reforms introduced by Gorbachev in the 1980s affected the Soviet Union politically and economically, and at the same time resulted in political changes in South Africa. You can't just say to a greater extent and then you leave it there. To a greater extent, what? That is why I rewrote this to indicate what is the position that I'm taking and what for. Alright, step number two, you provide a reason for your stance. Provide a reason as to why did you take that position. Step number two, this is my reason. Because the end of the Cold War and the weakening of the Soviet support for communist movements put pressure on South Africa to reform its apartheid system and improve relations with Western countries. Okay, this is my reason. Step number three, orientation. What is this essay going to discuss? The information, which information am I going to use in this essay? Here is step number three. Therefore, this essay will explain, because remember they said to us explain. So I'm sticking with explain. This essay will explain the reforms introduced by Gorbachev in the 1980s, namely the perestroika and glasnost, and explain how they affected the Soviet Union politically and economically. Finally, the essay will also explain how these developments contributed to the political changes in South Africa. We are done. Your introduction, the stance is there, the line of argument is there, the reason, and you have also told the reader or the marker what your essay is going to do, which content are you going to draw from. Okay, I hope that makes sense. Let's move on to our next slide. Like I always say, a good essay is accompanied by a background, just a little bit of background information. One paragraph is enough, okay? So our background for this specific essay session reads as follows. Gorbachev became Secretary General of the Soviet Communist Party and leader of the government in 1985 at 54 years of age. When Mikhail Gorbachev came to power, he saw that the Soviet Union needed major changes. It needed change, okay, because the economy was not doing well. So they needed to implement some changes. I hope that makes sense. The arms race with the United States. So when we speak of arms race, it's when countries are competing, like in terms of weapons, as to which country has the most weapons, okay? So the arms race with the United States, obviously, you know, most the USSR or the Soviet Union was always competing with the USA because of their different ideologies. The one for the USSR being what? Communism, and the one for USA being what? Capitalism. So there was an arms race between the USSR or the Soviet Union as well as the United States. So the arms race with the United States and participating in the war in Afghanistan had weakened the country. Which country? You know which country, right? Had weakened the country and damaged its economy. All right. So Gorbachev wanted to improve the situation, improve this damaged economy. Okay, improve or make changes to this weakened country. As a result, he did what? He introduced two important policies. What's the name of those policies? The first policy or the first reform is perestroika, which means economic restructuring. He wanted to restructure what? The damaged and the weakened economy. As a result, he introduced this reform, being perestroika. Okay? And glasnost, which is another reform or policy, which means openness. Okay? This is your background. You don't go into detail explaining these two policies because that is what you are going to do in your body. But in the background, you just mention them to show the marker that you know what you're talking about. All right? Now let's move on to our body. Yes, and also you will realize that I have these subheadings like introduction, background, body. I have these subheadings for you so that you can see how you are supposed to structure your essay. But when you are writing in the exam, good people, do not write these subheadings. You are not supposed to write these subheadings. If you write these subheadings, you're going to lose marks. I'm doing this for you so that it becomes easier and so that you can follow as to how you're supposed to structure your essay. I hope that is clear. If you go there and write these subheadings, I don't know. You are not supposed to write them. Okay? Now we are beginning with the body of our essay. Okay? This is how you start. So Gorbachev introduced his perestroika policy with the aim to revive the Soviet economy by encouraging Western investments and reducing government control over the economy. For instance, private businesses could now engage in foreign trade, and foreign investments were now allowed, and smaller businesses could now be privately owned. Okay, so this is what he meant by restructuring the economy through the perestroika policy. He made these changes, such as doing what, reducing government control, such as allowing private businesses, allowing private trade, allowing privately owned businesses to operate. As you know, anything that has to do with privatization or people owning the means of production, that is what? That is capitalism. That is no longer communism. Okay? So the perestroika policy allowed aspects of capitalism back to the economy. That is what I meant. Okay? Now, let us refer back to our initial question. This is one of the reforms introduced by Gorbachev in the 1980s that had an effect on the Soviet politically and economically to a great extent. We are done. Moving on to the next paragraph, okay? It reads as follows. As part of Gorbachev's reforms, he introduced glasnost. Now you expand on this reform, which aimed to facilitate government transparency. Like they wanted the government to be transparent, so that whatever it is that the government is doing is open to the public, and the public knows what the government is doing, and the public can also voice or say whatever it is that they feel like saying. They can also share their perspectives as well as their opinions. That is what is meant by glasnost. It means openness, okay? And introduce more freedoms like freedom of speech. Exactly. This meant that people and the media were now allowed to criticize the government. For example, we are now providing evidence, the pin method, don't forget. For example, people criticized the perestroika as it allowed a sharp reduction in military spending, resulting to many hardline communists to be discontent with the policies he introduced. In this case, let us link by referring back to the question. This is how we do it. In this case, it is evident or it is clear that the introduction of glasnost as a reform affected the Soviet Union politically and economically, as it allowed people to criticize the government and Gorbachev himself. Alright, moving on to the next slide. Here's another paragraph. It is worth noting that Germany was a focal point of the Cold War in Europe. You know this, with the Berlin Wall being a physical symbol of the division between East and West since 1961. Okay? Gorbachev's loss of support due to the reforms he introduced led to the fall of the Berlin Wall on 9 November 1989, meaning that since Gorbachev introduced these two reforms or those two policies, there are people who do not agree with those policies. So now he lost his support from his people, okay, resulting to the fall of what? Of the Berlin Wall. Alright? This was seen as the end of Cold War in Europe because remember the Berlin Wall was a very big symbol of the Cold War. So now it has fell. That is a what a symbol of the end. This symbolizes or this is seen as the end of Cold War in Europe, and Gorbachev's reforms led to the collapse of the Soviet Union in 1989. Let us link. In this manner, it is evident that the reforms introduced by Gorbachev in the 1980s affected the Soviet Union politically and economically to a great extent. Alright? Moving on to our next paragraph. On 25 December 1991, the USSR was dissolved. Okay? Remember, the USSR, it wasn't a single country, it was countries, okay, that formed the USSR. So the Communist Party disbanded. Disbanded means people separated. The others went that side, okay? And each of the 15 republics, like I said, the USSR was not a single country, but different countries. So now, since it has disbanded, since it dissolved, since it separated, those 15 countries that formed part of the USSR, they became independent states, they became independent countries. So this disintegration means separation. This disintegration of the USSR or of these 15 republics symbolized the collapse of the Soviet Union and the end of Cold War. Okay, and obviously this happened because of the two reforms that Gorbachev introduced. Okay, now let's link, referring back to the question. This proves to a greater extent that the new policies or the new reforms that Gorbachev introduced in the 1980s affected the Soviet politically and economically. Alright? Moving on to our next paragraph. So during the Cold War era, the National Party, yes, I see. Yes, it was supposed to be party, right? Used American fears of spreading communism to their advantage. Obviously, you knew has always wanted to do what? To contain the spread of communism, to contain it, to ensure that communism does not spread. So the National Party in South Africa, which was the apartheid government, used this fear to their advantage. Let's find out as to how do they use this fear, okay, or what do they mean by use this fear to their advantage. So the National Party government often portrayed the African National Congress as a communist organization directed by the Soviet Union and blamed them for uprisings such as Sharpeville 1960 and the Soweto uprising in 1976. So here what they mean is that the National Party government used the ANC during the apartheid years as a what? As a scapegoat to tell what the American government or the USA that the ANC is a communist organization, and obviously, the USA will always support those countries who are pro-capitalism, who are anti-communist, who are against communism. Okay, and then the National Party also claimed that the Soweto uprising, you remember Soweto uprising, 1976. Those students were protesting for their education and fighting to be taught everything in Afrikaans. A Sharpeville massacre, 1960. Those people were protesting at the Sharpeville police station because against what the past laws. So the National Party government used these two uprisings or these two forms of resistance as evidence that ANC was a communist organization. Okay, that is what they mean. The National Party used American fears of spreading communism to their advantage. I hope that makes sense. To portray the ANC as a communist organization. All right, let's proceed. Therefore, when the Soviet Union collapsed in 1989, the National Party government could no longer justify apartheid in terms of the Cold War, and this would make them to seek transformative negotiations with the ANC. Yes, Cold War has ended and the Soviet Union has collapsed. So now the apartheid government can no longer go and say the ANC is being supported by the USSR. How so? Because the USSR has collapsed. I hope that makes sense. So this is how the reforms introduced by Gorbachev affected the Soviet economically and politically, and also resulted to political changes in South Africa. I hope that makes sense. Moving on to our next body, the United States of America could no longer continue to support the apartheid regime, and the West put pressure on the National Party government to negotiate with the ANC or continue to face sanctions. Okay, South Africa withdrew from Southwest Africa in 1990 and named it Namibia. Okay, when they say South Africa here, they're referring to the white government. All right. This transition from white minority rule to black majority rule in Namibia served as a blueprint for the South African government to do the same. Furthermore, influential National Party members started to realize that apartheid was not the answer for the development of white economic interests. Okay? Because remember, the apartheid government was facing what? Was now facing sanctions. So when we speak of sanctions, we're talking about penalty that is given to other countries who break the law or who practice gross human rights violations. Okay, so they had to put an end on apartheid because they were facing these penalties or these punishments from other countries. Okay, where was I? Yes. So in order to protect white economic interests, they needed to protect, yes, white economic interests and sort of put an end to these sanctions. They needed to do what? To introduce or find a new development. Okay. So the National Party government started to believe that reform needed to include the development of a strong black middle class. Okay. This is a reform. These are changes that are being introduced because during the apartheid era, black middle class were not even considered. The only people that mattered, I could say, the people that mattered the most was white people. They didn't care about black people. You know how they treated them, right? Yes. Let's proceed. This was because the apartheid government could no longer use communism to justify its racial segregation policies. Because remember, communism collapsed in the USSR when the Berlin Wall fell. Okay, in this case, let us link. It is clear that the reforms introduced by Gorbachev had significant economic and political impact on the Soviet Union and contributed to the changes in South Africa. Moving on to our next body, the Soviet Union could no longer support the ANC financially as it was bankrupt. Okay, as a result, the ANC was unable to continue the armed struggle. When we speak of the armed struggle, good people, we are referring to groups or a group that uses what military force or arms, weapons to try to overthrow the government. Okay, in this case, the armed struggle was from the ANC trying to overthrow which government? The apartheid government. Where did the ANC get the armed struggle or the financial support? From the Soviet Union. Now that the Soviet Union has collapsed, ANC can no longer do what receive the military aid or financial support from the Soviet Union. As a result, now the ANC is forced to do what to sort of want to negotiate with the National Party government. Okay, so the ANC showed willingness to negotiate with the National Party government as an alternative to the armed struggle. Okay, so on the 2nd of February 1990, de Klerk, which was the then president, announced the unbanning of all anti-apartheid organizations. Okay, you know most organizations like this, the ANC, PAC were banned during the apartheid years. So de Klerk responded by doing what? As part of his reforms, as part of his changes, he decided to unban all these anti-apartheid organizations such as the ANC and the PAC. And this paved the way for multi-party talks or negotiations whereby different parties such as the ANC, the National Party government talk or start having their negotiations, which led us to this very same democracy that we are living in today. So this all happened because of Gorbachev's reforms that affected the Soviet Union economically and politically as well, okay? And also led to the political changes in South Africa. Can you see how the introduction of these Gorbachev's reforms, the introduction of glasnost as well as perestroika had an impact on the economy, making the USSR or the Soviet Union to collapse and also making countries like South Africa to change their political stance. I hope that makes sense. Now, let's move on to the last part, conclusion. Conclusion is equally important as the introduction. Make sure, guys, that you write your conclusion, okay? Because if you do not conclude your essay, you're going to lose marks, right? You will lose marks. So please try to manage your time wisely. Try by all means. I know you don't have enough time there. 3 hours feels like, I don't know, 2 hours. Some people always say that. But try your best, okay? So this is how you write your conclusion. That in conclusion is very important. It's supposed to be there because you're showing the marker or the reader that you are now doing what? Summing up. You're now concluding your whole argument to a greater extent. Remember, the line of argument or the stance that you took in the introduction is supposed to be there in the conclusion as well. Okay? In conclusion, to a great extent, the reforms introduced by Gorbachev in the 1980s had a major impact on the Soviet Union, both politically, economically, while also leading to the political changes in South Africa. The end of Cold War and the collapse of Soviet Union caused by Gorbachev's reforms placed pressure on South Africa to reform its apartheid system, to make changes to its apartheid system, and improve its relations with Western countries. This essay has discussed Gorbachev's main reforms, such as the perestroika and the glasnost, and how they transformed how they changed the Soviet politically and economically. Lastly, this essay has also explained how these developments, these changes, or these reforms contributed to the political change in South Africa as the country eventually ended the apartheid regime and began negotiations that led to democracy. And then we are done. Okay, Yeah, I think that's just about it, guys. I tried to be fast because I don't like making very, very long videos because people don't finish long videos, okay? Anyways, please don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, and share. Please share, don't gatekeep these videos. Please share with your fellow classmates, okay? And all the best with your final exams. Thank you. Bye.